Men don't make sense to women. You often don't know what he's thinking, how he feels about you or anything else, or why he does the things he does instead of what you think he should be doing. I've observed this too many times to count. Ask a man what he's thinking about, and he'll typically say nothing. The word nothing, not that he doesn't say anything. He just says the word nothing. Ask him what he's feeling, and then he's speechless. Ask him why he did something, and if you press the point, you'll hear three little words: I don't know. Hello, I'm Dr. Debi, and I've been helping men, women, and couples grow together for more than 25 years. Now it's your turn to learn what I learned and taught as a couples counselor and university professor. You are the wise woman, and this is your personal development podcast packed with instant encouragement and practical tips. And men can learn about women too, because this is a safe place where women are valued and men are respected. We talk about biology, socialization, behavior, emotions, communication, and connection, because men and women are different. Always have been, always will be, and that's a very good thing. A woman's conclusion based on what she can see is that men don't think deeply about anything. They don't have feelings, and they do dumb stuff both frequently and randomly. Therefore, when a man does something a woman doesn't understand, she thinks he's wrong. In her mind, that's her signal that he needs to be fixed, and it's her job to do it. If that doesn't work, she'll drag him to marriage counseling and ask the therapist to fix him for her. But what if there's nothing wrong with him? What if men are just different than women? Physically, emotionally, and socially. If you want to partner with your husband to inspire him to become the man God created him to be, you need to understand that he is fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God as a man, not a woman. Let's take a closer look at each of these three things about your husband. That is, what he thinks, how he feels, and why he does what he does instead of what you think he should be doing. Instead of recording one long video, I'm going to make 3 separate videos to give you a minute to digest what you hear between each one. In this video, let's talk about what he thinks, or if he even thinks at all. I'll tell you what I've learned about his feelings and his behavior in subsequent videos. Does your husband think? If so, what does he think about? Well, mostly he thinks deeply about what it means to be a man. Does he have what it takes to protect the ones he loves? Is he able to provide for his family? Does his wife respect what he says, take his advice, follow his lead? Will his kids be well and turn out well? Relationships really do matter to a man. He cares deeply but rarely expresses his love in words. He doesn't sit around talking about it. Instead, he processes his concerns for those he loves, as well as his own hopes and dreams, inside himself. He is constantly evaluating his fears and his failures. He doesn't tell you any of that because he wants you to see him as a man, not as the failure he sometimes tells himself he is. So he works on fixing himself. Unless he's got a great supportive male friend or two to provide a safe place to grow, he's at a loss for how to upgrade his masculine sense of self. The only alternative he has is to seek an escape from relentless shame. When the struggle overwhelms him, he'll try to avoid or deaden the pain with too much work, too much television, or too much beer. Asking for help feels weak and shameful. He already feels inadequate. Why would he add fuel to that fire? So, if I'm right about this, he does think deeply and often about serious stuff. You want to know his thoughts. That's why you asked. So, why does he say he's thinking about nothing? Well, now you may not believe me when I tell you the reason, because I didn't believe it myself either for a long time. When it would get quiet, I'd ask my husband what he was thinking about. He would always say nothing. I didn't believe him. No one, least of all me, could not be thinking about something. I thought he was hiding something from me. which added to my paranoid belief that he didn't really like me. Did I mention that I got married the first time when I was 18? Yes, we were both 18 and ill-equipped for marriage, but I'll save that story for another day. A couple of decades later, I started grad school to become a psychologist. Client after client over those early years of my training and all the years since then, I've heard men say the same thing. Not when their wives were in the counseling room with them. I mean when they were in individual therapy. Turns out my husband hadn't been trying to hide something. He really was capable of thinking about nothing. So what's that about? Well, men tend to focus intensely on one thing at a time. Hear both of the facts in that statement. Intensely, one thing at a time. That means they have to find relief from the intensity and make a definitive shift between the object of their thoughts to another object of their thoughts. Imagine a man hunting. He watches one animal at a time with intense focus. It's so intense, in fact, that he needs a few minutes to shift that focus. The most noticeable example for everyday life is the way a man becomes glued to the TV after a long day at work. He's in the zone. He's not defensively tuning you out. He actually doesn't hear you. Likewise, with or without the television, he can go into the zone, turn off his thoughts, and disconnect from the pressures of the world. It's an amazing mechanism that comes pre-installed. That is, I think God made men that way to protect them from total overwhelm. So be thankful He uses that skill. No, He's not hiding anything from you, unless He is, and that's a whole different subject. Bottom line, next time you ask Him what He's thinking and He says nothing, you can believe Him, because there's a 99% chance He's telling you the truth. Next time, we'll talk about how He feels. Until then, take care, and remember, I'm here to help. Thank you for listening to this episode of A Wise Woman's Guide to Men and Marriage. What did you think? Did the information raise more questions? Do you want to learn more? Head over to A Wise Woman's Guide for show notes and links to the resources mentioned in this episode at awisewomansguide.com.